Good tidings, ladies and gentlemen of the Lodge, and welcome back. Today we are not only talking Kingdom Hearts, but we are talking about two of the legendary Keyblade Masters, Master Xehanort and Master Eraqus. As we all know, Master Xehanort and Master Eraqus are two of the most pivotal characters in the Darkseeker saga, with their actions and chess match shaping the course of events that took place in the series. But lately I've been putting some thought into what exactly motivated these two Keyblade Masters, not just their personal motivations, but their values as well. In examining both characters more closely, it occurred to me that Master Xehanort was primarily motivated by a sense of duty, while Master Eraqus was primarily motivated by a sense of honor. So let's talk about Master Xehanort first. He was a Keyblade Master who sought to create a new world, believing that the world was in need of balance, and that the balance should be maintained by a strong dictatorial leader, a role he envisioned for himself. It's important to remember that throughout his entire life, Xehanort was raised and told that he was the child of destiny, that it would be his duty and destiny to prevent the light from expiring. As we saw, this sense of duty as a child of destiny completely possessed Xehanort and all of his actions throughout the series. We can see him pondering this sense of duty in the Remind cutscene with the Master of Masters.
All right. The world needs you. I'll grant you that one.
I don't know what I can do, but I will act. What comes next is too important.
Even when Xehanort didn't know what to do or where to go, he was still motivated by this sense of duty, knowing that it was his place to act as opposed to stand by. We even see this sense of duty pushing him beyond his limit at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, where despite his life fading from him, he still reluctantly insists that he can do this. When we look throughout Xehanort's life, from the time he was a kid and being told he would become this child of destiny, to him being an adolescent, not knowing what to do, but knowing that he must act on this sense of duty, and then we see it ultimately be a catalyst to his downfall here at the end, where despite his defeat, he insists he can complete his duty. And at the very end, he saw how this sense of duty led him to an end that had him feeling quite alone, while Eraqus was embraced by the students that he had failed. Again, Xehanort's sense of duty is perhaps his most admirable trait, but it also was one of his biggest flaws, and is responsible for how his story ends at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Luckily though, the always honorable Eraqus made sure his friend could spend his final moments not feeling alone, and perhaps even being forgiven in the eyes of his longtime friend. Speaking of which, I think it's time we move on to Master Eraqus and discuss his sense of honor. So when it comes to Master Eraqus, we see that he is motivated by a sense of honor. Eraqus has a samurai motif to his design, and as we know through the Bushido, the samurai's moral code, honor is seen as a high virtue. However, much like Xehanort, it was Eraqus' honor that ultimately led to his downfall in Birth by Sleep. We know that Eraqus, unlike Xehanort, did not believe in a balance between light and dark, but purely served on the side of the light. To turn his back on that belief would mean to go against his honor. We saw how this created a schism between himself and Xehanort, but we also see how this forced his hand in the battle against Terra. Eraqus, believing he was fulfilling his duty as a Keyblade Master on the side of the light, was ready to strike down Ventus to prevent the Keyblade from being forged. It's then his other student Terra stepped in to try and stop him. Holding his beliefs and values above all else, Eraqus committed to his honor and engaged in battle with Terra. It was only in the end of the battle that Eraqus had realized he had made a mistake. And like any man motivated by honor would do, he worked in tandem with Terra to make sure he could make it right in the end. And as we saw at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, he was embraced and forgiven by his students and restored his honor by helping to make things right. So as we can see, Xehanort was motivated by a sense of duty, while Eraqus motivated by a sense of honor. Both of these values were important to both Keyblade Masters, but it ultimately led to both of their downfalls. Xehanort was driven by a desire to achieve his goals at any cost, while Eraqus was driven by a desire to do what he believed was right and just. These two characters provided a fascinating contrast, and their motivations and values helped to drive the overarching narrative of the series. Again, making both characters enjoyable to watch. But anyway, that is just gonna about do it for us here today. I'm interested in what all of you think. Please drop in the comments. Let me know what you think about Xehanort and Eraqus' motivations of honor and duty, and whether or not you expect to see them in the Lost Masters arc, be it through a flashback or any other sort of appearance like that. Anyway, all you ladies and gentlemen, be good out there, be good to yourselves and each other, and I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.